What's up everyone, welcome back. Today we're playing Braids, Arisen Nightmare in Historic Brawl. Braids is a 3 mana mono black Nightmare 3/3 with, at the beginning of your end step, you may sacrifice an artifact, creature, enchantment, land, or planeswalker. If you do, each opponent may sacrifice a permanent that shares a card type with it. For each opponent who doesn't, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. So obviously for each opponent doesn't apply here. We're playing Historic Brawl, so it's just 1v1. So we only get this trigger once, right? In Commander, this card's awesome because you get that for each opponent, but we only get it for our one opponent here. If you're familiar with the original Braids, it's like a 4 mana, very similar body that forces everyone at the table to sacrifice stuff. I can't remember exactly what it says, but it's like at the beginning of your upkeep or your end step, each player sacrifices a permanent, essentially, is what it says. This doesn't make them, it gives them the option to with the may clause. However, the way I view this card is it's like Braids Light. Or original Braids Light. Worst case scenario, they choose to not, we sacrifice something, they choose not to sacrifice something, but they lose 2 life and we draw a card. So it's a card advantage engine. Best case scenario, we sacrifice something and they determine that they can't afford to lose 2 life or let us draw cards. So they have to start sacrificing permanents. And that's where our game plan comes into play. So low mana curve, we're trying to get a bunch of permanents out. So we have a bunch of stuff for Braids to sacrifice. And we have a bunch of creatures that we don't mind sacrificing but have, you know, great death effects. Like Black Cat, where when it dies, the opponent discards a card at random. So, you know, we sort of 2-for-1 them. We either draw a card and they lose 2 life and they discard a card at random, or they sacrifice a creature and discard a card at random. Either way, it's pretty good for us. We also have other types of permanents like Ichor Wellspring. We draw a card when it enters the battlefield, and then when it's put in the graveyard, we draw a card. So we can sacrifice with Braids, and then we draw another card if they choose to not sacrifice a artifact. So this card can draw us 3 cards for 2 mana over time. Other fun synergies in the deck, Grave Pack. So with this down, we turn that may ability into a must ability. So we sacrifice a creature, this trigger goes on the stack, they have to sacrifice a creature. Then this trigger goes on the stack, and they then have to choose if they want to sacrifice another creature or lose 2 life and let us draw a card. So bunch of different effects like that in the deck. As far as endgame payoffs, we just have Liliana, Dreadhorde General. It makes us 2/2 black zombies, so we always have something to sacrifice to Braids, but it also draws us cards whenever our creature we control dies. We can also use its -4 or its -9 if we get to that. The -9 wins you the game, straight up. So if we get to the -9, we just straight up win the game. But the -4 is applicable because we can play Liliana. If they have 2 creatures, we can -4. We'll have way more creatures than they do, most likely. So this will... the symmetry of it will be broken, and they'll lose their whole board, and we'll only lose our 2 weakest creatures. So yeah, that's the deck. Just card draw, you know, typical stuff. Yeah, let's see if we can get some wins with this deck. It doesn't have a lot of removal, because it's removal for a black deck is what I should say. Normally when I build a mono black deck, it's like, you know, 10 plus removal cards, but we're sort of depending on Braids' ability here to be our removal. There is a little sprinkling of removal in here, but it's more like control cards. So let's see if we can win with this style of mono black deck. It's a little bit different than the normal style of mono black deck, at least the mono black decks that I build. Yep, really cool card design though. I like Wizards not being afraid to make cards like this that sort of force people into making tough choices. Koth. This is a really good commander. As soon as I get the wild card, I'm gonna craft Koth and make a Koth deck. We go first. Blood Artist is a great card. Demonic Gifts. It's kind of a high mana curve, but we have 3 lands, which is good. I think we'll draw into more low mana curve stuff. I think having the 3 lands is good. Everything else in the deck is like essentially 3 mana or less. So everything we draw we'll be able to play. Ooh. Yeah, I think that's better than playing Blood Artist into their Lightning Bolt. Flame Blessed Bolt. Unexpected Windfall. Flame Blessed Bolt. Deals 2 damage to our creature or planeswalker if that creature would die. Okay, we'll take their Windfall because this does not kill Braids. And if they have another removal spell, they have to 2-for-1 Braids, which is fine. We're okay with them spending 2 cards to... we only lose 1, right? Okay, we'll do this first. They can choose which thing they want to kill. They're going to snap off the removal spell. That's fine. We still get the 2/2. Phoenix. Okay. So they can choose to not sacrifice here. Oh, they do? Okay. Great. So they're going to probably play Koth. So they can minus here and kill Braids.
When this war is over, we will finally rest.
We can sacrifice it. But that doesn't do anything here. Yeah, resolve. That's fine. This kills planeswalkers, doesn't it? Yes, it does. Oh, they get it back? No. No, they don't. Okay. So we can... Oh, this is beautiful. We can do this. And we can play Crafter. Sacrifice the Witch. Draft a card from the spellbook. Oh, that's brutal. Yeah. Yeah. We're taking the cruel reality. Might take a while to get there, but we're going for it. They're going to exile a card. They can Brother's Hood in if they want. Just to get rid of my Plague Crafter. If they don't, they lose it, so they might as well. Yeah. Okay. Well, Blood Artist. And keep up Deadly Dispute. Cool. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we have enough to play this next turn. And we have a Bojuka Bog, which can get rid of their Phoenix. Oh, no, they bring it back. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Then what happens after this turn? Does it get exiled or what? No? I really want to kill this and Bojuka Bog it. So maybe we just... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They don't have a land. Looks like. So let's just get rid of the Phoenix. It's the smart play to make. Yep. Let's get rid of a card in their hand. And we'll pass. If they draw a land, they can Koth. Which is perfect. It goes right into this.
This fight is for every Mire. We will retake this land.
It is. I really like the design of Koth. I think this is such a well-designed card, especially for mono red. It's a much needed like mono red, like big red type planeswalker. Okay, so we'll do this. Do this. I don't think they have a choice. I guess they could okay, well, they actually had a choice here. So, okay, let's read this. At the beginning of enchanted player's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. If they can't, they lose 5 life. So they could have popped the experimental synthesizer to get a creature to save their Koth. But maybe they just felt like that would only buy them 1 turn and they had like 2 mountains in hand. But yeah, this was definitely a good pickup from the spellbook. GG. This is your between game reminder to subscribe if you like this kind of content. Hit that subscribe button. See who we get next. I didn't think we would actually beat Koth. I didn't say that out loud, but in my head I was like, ooh, Koth, that's a good deck. So feel kind of good about beating it. Narset, ugh. Narset. Well, we do have sacrifice cards in the deck. Usually this deck ramps out Narset and it has hexproof, and then they start casting spells for free. So what does it cost? Does it cost 6 mana? Yeah, it's 6 mana, but they usually ramp it out by turn 4 or so. This hand is good against any other opponent, but I don't know if it's good against Narset. I mean, Braids allows us, but then they can just say no and allow us to draw cards. If we start sacrificing our stuff. But hey, I mean, that's really our only shot. So, you know, Narset is one of the most broken cards in Commander, and it's just as broken in Historic Brawl. I'm kind of bummed to see it in Historic Brawl. I know they brought in the con set, and that's why it's here, but not really my cup of tea. If it wasn't hexproof, it'd be fine, but the fact that it's hexproof makes it so hard to interact with. Okay. We'll do it like this. Maybe they'll counter it, maybe they won't. Nope. Okay, they foretell something, but they only have Boros mana up, so... What do we do here? We could play Braids. I feel like we just... Well, if this is a counter spell, we should probably get Braids out, right? Because they may not have a removal spell. Yeah, let's do the Black Cat. Make them discard a card at random. That's a good one to hit. That's a good one to hit. Okay, they foretell again. Fateful Absence, sure. Expected that. Take action. Okay. We do have an edict, so that's awesome. So they can't play this next turn, but we do have an edict for when they drop Narset. We could black market. That might be enough pressure on them to... Yeah, we're at a healthy life total too. Let's do this while they're tapped out. They'd definitely counter this if they could. Is Bevel tapped? Yeah. Oh no, we can't. Man, freaking arena tapping. They should have done the colorless here. But okay. Anyway, we could have played this if they didn't tap our lands that way. Gotta be careful with the auto tapper. Okay, end turn. I finally cracked Westville Abbey for the first time in Commander. But first time ever cracking it in any format. It was glorious. Ended up winning me the game. Let's do all modes. Let's put pressure on them. They probably have a counter spell here, so we're only going to play spells that we don't care if they get countered. So let's tap this for colorless so we don't make the same mistake. Okay. Oh, it's a shapeshifter. That's right. So that makes this bigger. Interesting. Okay. We have a treasure as well. So why don't we get this guy down? I really hope they don't have a wrath, but they could. If they have a land, we can Shieldred's Edict. So, resolve. Non-token creature. Auto hit. They didn't have the free counter either. Pact, they didn't have Pact Navigation. Do you want to still play? They actually didn't ramp Narset out. Usually when I play this deck, it's like 18 mana rocks and they get Narset out by turn 4. Opponent, you still there? Did you punch your computer screen? Next turn we have 6. Sorry. 6, 9 power coming at them. We could also Westville Abbey if we get another creature down. So we could black market, get the creature, attack all, and then Westville Abbey. Yes. Because then we make a flying, lifelink, indestructible haste creature. Yep, I think they're roping me out. It never ceases to amaze me that people play broken, like, tier 1 decks. Like, the most powerful cards in the format, and then they get salty when, you know, someone outplays them. It's like, come on, man, like, you can't win all the time, but, like, also, you're the one who chose to play this card. Like, no one made you play this card. I'm playing like mono black jank over here, so like you need to look at your life decisions, brother. I think they're just gonna rope me out. Did they put a stop on my upkeep? That's okay. Anyway, if we continue to play Magic, my plan is to make another creature with black market. We have plenty of life, and if we Westville Abbey, we're gonna have a ton of life. we can attack all, and then depending on what they do on their turn, we can Westville Abbey in response on our turn and then kill them. But they don't want to find out. Okay, that's 2 wins against 2 good decks. So who would have thought a bunch of like sacrifice fodder creatures would make Narset scoop? You love to see it. If you like watching Narset players scoop, subscribe. Liliana. Which Liliana? 3 mana Liliana. Okay. So they're a discard deck. We have 2 lands. 3 lands. We have Invoke Despair, but they're probably going to make me discard that before I ever get to it. This is fine. Yeah, this is fine. Okay. We'll keep... They get to go first, so they're probably going to Thoughtseize me turn 1, something like that. Ah, Duress, yes. Thoughtseize... yeah, that's the... Okay. I don't know what else they could have taken, but if you Duress turn 1, don't take their most expensive spell. Take the thing that's gonna propel their game plan. Like, I would have taken the Black Bloom Rogue, or I guess this is a creature. I would have taken, what? This. Because it's the thing that's gonna come up soonest. Like, you're a discard deck. You're gonna have a lot of other discard. You don't need to take the biggest thing. Anyway. That's just, as someone who plays lots of discard decks, that's my advice. A lot of times people see like the big spell and they want to take that. Ah, 2 can play at this game. But like, you have to think about how long it's going to take them to get to that big spell. Especially if you're a discard deck where you have a ton of other discard effects. If you're a deck that only runs 1 Duress, then yeah, that's different. But if you're a deck that's built around discarding, like making the opponent discard, then there's no reason to make them discard their biggest thing when you can get that later. Sure. I'll probably have removal for it, but that's fine. A-Orcish Bowmasters. Okay. Liana. Yeah. You gonna make me sacrifice? No. Discard.
You're telling. We all have things we'd rather forget.
I don't need you. Huh. That's a good card to get rid of. It's funny, we drew like the same exact effect that we just discarded. Okay, so what do we do here? We can... Okay, hold on. I think we will go to combat first. We'll attack. They're willing to trade their Bowmasters. That's fine with me. Then we'll Thoughtseize them. Waste Not and Oppression. Waste Not and Oppression. I want both of those out of your hand. Man. Which gives them more value? I guess this does, technically. Like, that's one of their best cards. This is super annoying, but it also affects them. So, we'll just do it like this. Now, if they -2, we can just sacrifice the Eldrazi token. Yep. Resolve. I mean, I love this card, but I think that's bad for them, too. Wow, they're gonna make us discard, huh? Okay.
Drop it.
So now they have no hand. Sure, Lily survives, but at what cost? It's a little poor Cutthroat. So this will cost 5. So I'm honestly okay playing Rankle. The Zulaport will get discarded. It is what it is. All attack Lily. They don't have enough mana to replay it yet, so they have to draw a land. And they're out. Hey man, I play lots of discard decks, alright? I know how this works. Oppression's such a sick card though. In the right shell, Oppression is awesome. I'm not sure it's a... Well, it's a good include in this deck, but I'm not sure they played it in the right spot. They only had one other card in hand. So, like, what good is it doing making yourself go empty-handed, right? Anyway. But yeah, black discard or like Rakdos discard, those are two of my favorite archetypes in any format. I almost have enough to get Koth. What is this with my last one? Blue or red spells? Okay, I'll have to do that later. Oh, did they give me a pack? Oh, I do have enough. Okay. This is your mid-episode intermission where I just crack packs. Don't worry about it. I know you guys are super interested in this stuff. But I'm going to get Koth because I think I'm one wild card away from getting Koth. Packs. I've just been cracking Wilds of Eldraine packs because they have the enchantments like Oppression in them. Claim, yep. And those are so good for Historic Brawl. A lot of them are mythics, so yeah, there's a wild card. And Leyline of the Void, nice. See, like I said, like you can't get these in any of the other sets. So like, I've just been cracking Wilds of Eldraine packs. This is a great card. Okay. So, let's go get Koth real quick. I know. A lot of you have stopped watching by now. Whatever. Collection. I just feel like it's relevant because I talked about it earlier in this episode that I was going to get Koth, so... Yeah, baby. Cool. I'll probably build that deck tomorrow. Nice. Okay. We'll do one more Braids game. I feel like the deck's been doing really well so far. Damn, that was hella fast. Okay. I can't read that. Did they change the font? Or the color? It used to be white, now it's like gray. I have never seen this card. Give me a sec. Okay, so it's from the new set. Ward 2, Silenzia, whenever Sovereign attacks for each creature you control with power greater than that creature's base power, put a number +1/+1 counters on that creature equal to the difference. Okay, so it's Silenzia +1/+1 counters. Obviously creature based. So... is this good against that? Not really. This is better. They get to go first. Get to scry. What is this? Okay, sure. We got a nice curve now. Nice, drew a land. Perfect. What does this do? double team? What is double team? When a creature with double team attacks, if it's not a token, conjure... Oh, alchemy terms. Ugh. If it's not a token, conjure a duplicate into your hand, and both of them perpetually lose double team. Okay, so you put a copy in your hand. If you control exactly 2 legendary permanents with the same name, legend rule doesn't apply to them. Each creature you control named has battle cry, which is, oh my god, whenever a creature with battle cry attacks, each other attacking creature gets plus, oh my, there's so much bait. This is why I hate alchemy cards. Like, that's like 6 cards in one. Alright, yeah, I understand whose turn it is. How about fuck your creature? I don't want to deal with any of that. Probably should have saved that for your commander, but I legitimately don't want to deal with any of that. What is this? A 3/4? We have a 3/3. Opponent is just so upset. I've never seen an angrier Silencia player in my life. Usually they're the chill token players at the table. Like, oh, I'm just gonna build up my tokens in my army. Don't mind me, I'm playing green white. Nah, this guy was coming with the negative energy tonight. Okay, we'll do another one because that one was that doesn't even really count as a game. Have we lost yet? I don't think we've lost a game. Oh, of course, now I've jinxed myself, but Athreos. Ooh, is this big Athreos or little Athreos? Big Athreos. Oh, I haven't seen Athreos in forever. Athreos? Athreos? I don't know. I actually own this card in paper. It's in one of my Reanimator decks. Yeah, so essentially it's one of the indestructible god enchantment devotion creatures. So it's not a creature until their devotion to Orzhov is what? 7 or greater. And then at the beginning of your end step, put a coin counter on another target creature. Whenever a creature with a coin counter on it dies or is put in exile, return that card to the battlefield under your control. So they can put these on my creatures as well, and if they die, then they come to the battlefield under their control. Alright, so can't do a lot about that, so we're just gonna have to be fast, I guess. That's a good hand. We'll play this land first. Authority of the Council, that's great against us. Do we have a turn 1 play? No. So this is good. Play that. We have 3 lands now. Arcane Signet. Okay, so maybe they're just going to ramp out to their dude. Yeah. I'm worried about what they got going on. So, exile target creature and all other creatures it controller controls with the same name as that creature. Okay, or Liliana. So they have 2 removal spells. I'm not as worried about Liliana. We can attack Liliana down. So it's one of these 2, and I think it's this one because it's a specified thing. So if we have enough creatures, these effects can't hit us.
Those who get in my way tend to regret it. You won't be outsmarted.
Probably you. You're not doing anything right now. Get rid of Invoke Despair? Sheesh. Okay, so we don't want to play Braids because they can just -2. So we want to play stuff like... Actually, you know what we should do? Is we should just make them sack Lily. Yeah. Bog, okay. It's fine. We don't really use our graveyard in this deck. Uh-huh. Would you like to use your removal spell on my ramp spell? This is annoying, but we don't have many creatures with haste, so it's not super effective. Okay, so they're gonna put it on my dude. That's fine. If we get an enchantment down, we can make them start sacrificing their enchantments, but I think what we really want to do is so right now their only option is to do this, and we could sack Direfleet Hoarder. If we do anything else, okay, well, we're going to attack no matter what, so let's attack. We really don't want them to get Shieldred. But they only have one card in hand, so I think we got to risk it. It puts a clock on them. It makes Athreos not matter. Yeah. So they could fire off the removal if they want to. As this is fine. We have the clock on them. And we have, now that we have our mana up, we have ways to get around this clause. Okay. Too bad we didn't draw land, but we can do this. Hit them for 6. Okay. So this doesn't work. We need to fake your own death on this guy. And we'll sack it. Oh, it didn't work. Their trigger happened before ours. I did not see that working out that way, but we got 2 treasures, so that's nice. Next. Are they going to block? They should. Okay, no. They have no removal. End turn. I feel like their deck has a lot of removal if they're pairing it with Athreos. So let's keep our defenses up. What does this do? It's a battlefield. Return target non-battle permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield, which is what? Liliana? That's the only thing, right? Resolve. Okay, so now this becomes
Enough
a creature.
with the mysteries. I've come for answers.
Sacrifices a creature. So we could sacrifice the orc if we want. What's the best way to do this? I think we just resolve. Get rid of this. We can bring it back to the battlefield. It's no big deal. Pass. Okay. Pass. Oh, I can't block anyway. Okay, sounds good. What does this become? Creature tokens you control get +1 and have lifelink at the beginning of your end step. Create a 1/1 creature with flying. Okay. Seems pretty good. So they have endless blockers. Resolve. Resolve. My turn. Okay. Okay. Well, we gotta force their hand. Do we just play this? I feel like we have to protect shoulder. That's like our best win con. So that's what I'm gonna do. Oh, brother. Okay. Oh, they're gonna egg. This doesn't get around that. I think they got us here. Because they can exile whatever they want. This has hexproof. We can't interact with it. Yeah, we'll just give them the good game. They did it. They did it. That is that's a house of a card right there. But that just goes to show you how good Athreos is. And it's kind of like Orzhov steal your permanence kind of deck. I should build this deck. It's pretty sweet. I liked this card too. The battle. I'd never seen that battle before. All right, let's do a deck review. Well, I think we won like 5 out of 6. So that's pretty good. Not too shabby. And I'm not even sure if that includes the people who like the Silenzia deck that's scooped after like 2 turns. But yes, this is the deck. I think it works really well. I think there's probably a lot of flexibility in terms of like what cards you put in these slots. There's a lot of like ETB value creatures or death trigger creatures that may or may not be better than the ones that are in here. So feel free to play around with those. But the general idea I would stick with, like low mana curve, you know, these types of effects, like the Feign Death types of effects, because you can, you know, sacrifice stuff to Braids and then have it come back. Also, you can sacrifice Braids itself. So if you play Braids and that's the only creature you have to sacrifice, you can Feign Death it, sacrifice itself to its own trigger, bring it back to the battlefield. So these types of effects are really good as well. But yeah, I think this is a good shell. So let me know in the comments if I missed anything, or if you have a build of Braids that you run, you know, set up cards for a specific reason. Otherwise, appreciate you watching. Like the video, subscribe. Please subscribe if you've been watching my videos, enjoying my content. Hit the subscribe button, helps me out. I'm trying to grow the channel. Been coming out with a video every day, so it's a lot of work, and I appreciate the support. Yeah, thanks for watching. Appreciate you watching all the way to the end. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.